You want us to do it?
Let's just do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Because you still look good.
Thank you. I mean, now I can hardly see. The screen's much big.
You want to start over, or you're just gonna?
No. I'll just pick it up from here. So if you're still with us, there was an audio glitch. You know, this is I don't have to explain it. The one thing I want to see is if I can get your Taylor, be careful because I can hear you. Or there's clicking. I heard somebody clicking.
Not me.
Oh, I think it's Taylor. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. There's some sort of clicking. Let me see. Let me see if I get this volume.
Well, folks, we're here with Salvador Calvino III. The motherfucker just got back from Jamaica.
Okay. Hold on. Salvador, I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to go to this video again because I wanted you to hear the volume. Because this is you.
Well, folks, we're here with Salvador Calvino III. The motherfucker just got back from Jamaica. 8 days, doing hair, Victoria's Secret. He's got a new book.
It's Salvador's book, right?
And also some fresh new tear sheets that have totally changed my life.
Look at that microphone.
My first Vogue cover with Debbie Dietering and Francesco Sorrenti shot it. Just over the past few days, life has just evolved to another level, and I'm very, very grateful. I'm very happy, and the fact that you dream about certain things, and since you're a little baby, I used to dream about having a Vogue cover, and always said that I'd have one by the time I was 25. And I have 3 months left, and I'll be 25, and I accomplished a very, very severe goal and a dream in my life.
Oh, that's nice.
It's all downhill from there, buddy.
That's funny.
Kidding.
Whoops.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That was so nice because it's funny that I'm using this like little handheld mic that I used. It was like, but whatever, it worked. I was only 2 feet away from you. Why I needed that, I don't know. But it's something funny about having the handheld mic. That was so nice.
Great,
Yeah. First Vogue cover, and then we were there to witness it.
Yeah.
So we'll move along. I feel like maybe things got slowed up a little bit. So you were doing hair. I did have some questions. Let's see, from an anonymous source. Although it's sort of more like a little bit later when you're at the hair piece, but we'll just go into it. It's kind of fun. In your chair, when you're doing someone's haircut, has anyone ever come on to you? You better say yes too.
Yeah. Like every day. No, but definitely have had moments,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your wife listening? Because
people are touching you, and I'm good at touching people, I guess. I don't know. I've had my moments, But
I mean, it's a sexy thing. I just remember, when you go back in that wash and somebody with nice hands is rinsing, and there is a lot of touching. And I think anybody doing your hair, it's like getting a massage. You're getting pampered, and
yeah, absolutely. And a lot of where you look at it now, where we're running a beauty shop now, and these days of like weirdness, and now it's not so to touch and be so close and all that. It's a strange world. But all those years of being that close and touching without the certification of being a doctor of any sort, it's a strange world.
Yeah.
We live in.
Yeah. Besides models, who was the most famous person's hair? Maybe a Grace Coddington. Did you do anybody like? I don't even know who that is. But.
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a tough one because famous, fame.
Relative.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when you think about, especially those days when you're 25 and doing things that you never thought you'd be doing, and kids. It's fame is relative to a degree to those of us that think that way in a way.
Right.
It's a lot of people strive and want that, and you get close to it at certain times, and it's a little nerve wracking. You know, I can relate to certain celebrities I used to work with where they wanted to hide out a lot. You know, you guys.
Yeah.
Daddy, can I just sit down on the couch?
Yeah, you can sit down on the couch, but you're gonna have to listen. You guys think you could do that? This will be challenging.
Tell me about. I remember you were doing the Late Show with David Letterman. I think you said, "Oh, I'm doing Claudia Schiffer's hair. She really likes me. She's like, I'm her temporary guy."
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever say that where I was her temporary guy. We did a lot of projects together in a chapter of time.
Yeah.
And it was definitely fun. And those are the relationships that you build over time, and you miss as years go by. And I think when you're young, you know, you don't really understand them to a degree, and you just kind of keep doing what you're doing and do your best. And you know, you end up in Arizona 25 years later with 2 little kids.
All right, a strange one. If food were hair, what would your favorite food be?
Excuse me, guys.
Okay.
Guys, chill for a second. My favorite food would be, if food were hair. That's a tough one. You don't ever want to eat hair, first of all. But gosh, food. I love food so much. I don't know. I mean, I remember you
You're
saying
Italian. Yeah.
a long time ago when as far as I think it had to do with girls. When it was like, why would you ever want to have the same meal every night? I love Chinese food. I love Indian food. I love Italian food. I love steak. I love hamburgers. You know, I love all sorts of
All
food.
right. I'll get off. So we're in Morton Street. I've known you a year. It's amazing when looking at the footage. I didn't. Yep.
Now, go. Not you, dog. See, when I say go, the dog hears go. She knows.
Right. It was amazing that how fast, because I only got to New York, and I'm looking at our footage, and it's like 95, 96. So it was so fast that we started doing things. Our trip to Lake Powell was like 95. It was only a year. I feel like I was well into Dog the Cat at the time. Yeah. Oh, I see you brought.
You remember waking up
Of
on that
course.
boat?
Yeah. So I'll give our viewers a second. Salvador and I had gone to this. He invited me to go to this place called Lake Powell, which he had been many times before. It's between Arizona and Utah. And we just went out on a boat for a week with 5 different guys, cruised around, smoked a little, ran around, played cards, listened to music, just dove in off cliffs. It was really nice. And I filmed the entire thing. I remember asking you, well, if I go, can I film stuff? You're like, fuck yeah, go do whatever you want. Yeah. That was the great thing is you're always so encouraging. I mean, I think we've had that relationship with photography and video, and you were getting cameras ahead of me, and then I would get them. You probably had more money, so I was like, can I borrow your cool new high 8 camera? And then I was shooting Super 8, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get some Super 8. And it was always like 4x5. So it's a very...
Super 8 than anybody in the globe, you know? Just for the record, I still have every single camera I've ever purchased. I've not gotten rid of one camera.
Yeah?
I keep them for the formats, for one, if I want to play something, but also those Super 8s now, I mean, they feel so good. You know that, you know?
I do. And I have back on one of my shelves, if you're watching, I think I have 2 in the back corner there hanging out. And they break a lot, so they don't even... So I'm going to switch it for a minute. We did a lot of, aside from you doing hair and me doing photography, we're suddenly like rollerblading, skateboarding friends. I don't know how that came. I guess, I don't know. And they're almost like 3 days a week.
And we were in studios a lot. So it's like to break out and get that fresh air. We all had that athletic energy that we had to just run and get it out, you know?
Yeah.
Good thing to do. Miss those.
All right. Well, oh, it's great. I mean, I'm still doing that. If I don't get out once a day, I'm miserable. I got a root. Got it. So you not only did. Oh, I got to put on back of that. Not only did we ride and go, but sometimes we did these hair cutting films. I mean, you were developing the hairpiece brand. You wanted to show cool videos in your place, which was great. You're always. I had some amazing footage of you walking around Lake Powell talking about hair and why you liked it so much. It was almost too much to get to. But I wanted to play this skateboarding video because this was reflective of what we did almost every other day. Let me see if I can make it.
Dude,
yeah.
I still skateboard. Don't get me wrong.
Do you?
Every day. Not every day. A lot. I don't see it. I'm supposed to be seeing this video because I don't see it.
You can't see it? Wait, you can't, oh, fucking A. Well, that's because I'm an idiot. Okay. Sorry! So this is leaving our West Village apartment
Yeah.
with your friend from Laurel, I believe.
It was Laurel, yeah.
You can almost describe what's happening now.
Laurel is an old friend. She came to visit me in New York City. This is, probably my first year in New York, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 5. Hudson River Park.
Yep.
Oh, my gorgeous flowing locks.
And Kelsey, if you're still there, this is your song. This is your music.
Nice. Yeah, there you go. Hi, little girl. What's up? My daughter's spying on us. Come on over. Look, Daddy. Watch Daddy. There you go. Little boy's here. Hey, little boy. How you doing? What you got? Hey. Oh, good. Good. No, it's good. My old friend. So you didn't know. No, that's not Mama.
So why did you get poof?
There you go. Okay, that's another story. We'll get there someday.
There's so much World Trade Center. That was the great thing, is the encouragement to shoot and to skate. And not that it matters that much, but I've so much.
See my hat and get out of here. Thank you. No. Sorry, buddy.
That's all right. I have so much great footage of the World Trade Center, which makes me happy because it was right there. It was like,
God, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a collection of photographs that you're so grateful you traveled and had those cameras with us all the time, you know?
yeah.
Crazy stuff.
You know what? Let's take a hold on. Let me see if, because I've tortured people with my little faux pas. So let me see if my chat jockey comes. So just pause for a second. And let me see if my friend, hey, Lauren, do we have any anything updated? Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's all right. You check and then come back. I'm going to go back to Salvador and see. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? You stand pat, Salvador. I'm going to go to another segment that I'm calling Things My Therapist Would Have Said. So if you're still with us, thank you for holding on. I appreciate it. We're with Salvador, an amazing guy. I wonder if you hear clicking sounds. If anybody does, let me know through the chat. Because I hear clicks and it kind of bugs me. So I'm not sure. So things my therapist might say, and actually did. The other day, you go to therapy? I mean, look, I got no qualms about it. I love it. It's a way of just getting everything out and saying, and it's really fun. The other day, right at the end, I said something and she said, well, that's a real doorknob moment. I was like, what? Did you just make that up? She's like, no, that's a phrase. It's a doorknob moment. As in, at the end of therapy, you introduce something that's like, oh, now we got to unlock that next week. So I thought that was kind of funny. I got 3 other things. Let's see. Now, for me, as you know, because you can't say, I'm very scattered. The other day, she said, that sounds like a distracting technique. So my therapist now, unlike earlier people, is kind of like a slave driver. She's been pushing this show. She's been getting mad at me. Why aren't you doing it? Don't worry about the tech problems. How are other people doing it? Just do it. And it's like, you can see from tonight, it's not technically easy. So evidently she said something to me and I diverted. It looks like you're learning to set boundaries. This is one we often have with our friends or family where there's conflict and one person may be a little bit timid, and then you're like, look, I can't do this or that. So she said, this looks good. Looks like you're setting boundaries. And last but not least, she said, it sounds like a big game of whack-a-mole. And that has to do with just about everything in life. It could be, let me see. You're right. Thank you, Chris. It is on his end. So that clicking noise, nothing personal, Salvador. Why? I don't know why. And that wasn't good. Anyway, so we're just back to me. So those are things my therapist would have said. If you care, if you find that amusing at all, if you go to therapy, feel free to let me know what your therapist says, because I find it funny. Sometimes I'm on with my therapist and I just stop and I'm like, that's kind of a therapist thing to say. Well, then how do you feel about that? Oh, all that shit. But anyway, therapy's fun because you can just say anything. So maybe we'll go to Taylor because Salvador has disappeared, but he disappeared too. Hey, Taylor, are you there? Can you hear? All right. No, that's you, Salvador. All right, we'll continue with you. No, I thought you went away, so, oh my God.
Some chicken in the oven.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, don't worry about it, Taylor. Just hang tight. Hold on. Oh, this is exciting. So that's my other guest, Taylor. Taylor, wait in the wings, because you're in Tucson, and Salvador's in Phoenix, and Phoenix always gets the shit.
Yeah,
But
well, it's the crappier of the two, so,
What does that mean?
I don't know. All right, I'm going to come back to you, Taylor, though. Just hang out, because you're,
all right.
good thing to look at. So, Salvador, I'm going to keep going. I want to see what else I have to play. So, our trip, maybe we'll go into, we got the Vogue cover. We have the skateboarding film, Lake Powell. Let me see what this other one. Oh, okay. So, tell us, I think this is it. The story of Hairpiece is really amazing. I mean, wait, how do I get rid of Taylor? Taylor, I'm trying to get rid of you. Got it. It just went me and Salvador. Taylor, hang out. Okay, you're back. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, Salvador and I have similar qualities. When we fucking want something, we go and get it. He was so motivated that somehow, I don't know how you found out, a space in the West Village came up that was a Mexican brothel, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was like Costa Rican?
Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. So it's a Puerto Rican whorehouse for those of you.
Yeah.
And 14th between 9th and 10th, and somehow it became free. How did you find out about that?
Cy Williams and Cy Williams was in the building, and Mark Andrew, and then the third floor became available, and they called me, and I called the landlord, and I went down and talked to the landlord, and that was it. Yeah, I busted that book out too.
Okay.
That was the time I walked in. Where's my angle there?
Yeah.
So I have this book that's like crazy.
I see.
Book.
So you had friends on the second floor, and they knew. So this was on the third floor. Okay, I never put two and two together. That makes sense.
410 West 14th Street.
Right.
Yeah.
And you came in with gusto and determination, and people like me that came to help.
Yeah. Do you remember
that? Do I remember that? I spent the last 2 hours before the show making a video. So we're going to turn now and show the making of Hairpiece in 2 minutes. Yep. All right. This is going to be better, though.
Yeah. I bet it is. I'm sure.
Let's see what we got. All right. Let me make this big. So if you...
Yeah! Woo! We're renovating Hairpiece Studio. This is the beginning of it.
What? Oh, fuck.
I want to express.
Okay, sorry, going back.
Yeah! Woo! We're renovating Hairpiece Studio.
No, it's back.
This is the beginning of it.
I want to express my gratefulness to my dear friend Ann Reinhardt. He's the man. Wow.
These principles can be applied to sexual function as well.
We're painting. We're building Hairpiece.
Hairpiece, baby!
You know what I do see? I see a big Salvador empty space.
It looks nice in here. You need to get this stamp on here.
That little rim around it was neat. I don't know if it's just the
Painting, sweeping, cleaning, moving, building, paler. Yeah, well, yeah. All right, I have to be at work at 9:30. I'm not too far from here.
Oh shit. I'm just gonna say for 1 sec. So it was funny that day. I was lucky to be. I really felt lucky. Salvador, on his own free will and accord, shelled out. I'm not gonna say it was like $10,000, but it was like a lot of money to take this incredible space and say, landlord, if I put in skylights, you know, can I do it? He's like, yeah, fuck, you pay for it, right? Isn't that what he said? You pay for it and you can do it. Oh shit, I muted you. Sorry, say that again.
Yes, that's pretty much what he said. I put a lot of money in that place, man.
Yeah.
It was great. It worked, you know. It was cool.
I think it was so worth it. All right, I'm saying, so I got to be there that day.
Yes, you did.
Fucking 16 and a half tons.
Hold on, dude. I gotta watch
I can't believe it. Did you see that? Wash conditions, are we done?
Oh no, well it's a peace sign. I mean, what kind of model do you need for a peace sign? No, I just kind
I
of
still have
improvised
that.
with it. Grabbed my spray cans and had a good time.
Okay, that's it.
I still have that big old canvas. The piece.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you remember that?
Let me just. Oh wait, let me go in on you. Hold on. Oh, shit. Oh wow. Yeah. That's your new space now, right?
No, that's the studio, man.
There was a piano in there?
We had the piano in there for opening night. We rented it. I rented it for Ontario to play. And then after the Ontario played, we sent it back. Yeah. Crazy, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's an
Yeah.
amazing space. Tell the people that
Thank you. Can you go in there?
right now you're in Phoenix and you literally created the same space. I mean, I visited you in square footage. Floors may be different, but everything else, the sink, it's like you replicated what you had in New York. How did you know?
Ish in ways, because it was a similar space. It had the backyard, and we've always made do with what we had, you know, and kind of what we created, you know. I don't know. It's the way I've always loved spaces, you know, to just if you're lucky enough to get in one and do it. Excuse me 1 second.
Okay.
Come on, guys. Come on, please.
Kids, what are you gonna do? You know, I don't got any. He does. Oh. Next time, I'm seeing the boss telling me next time, you know,
Sorry,
have the guest kids send the kids away.
please.
Sorry.
Okay.
They're cute, but you know, what are you gonna do?
Sorry, bud. My wife was supposed to be home from work 2 hours ago, and it didn't get
Oh my God. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock and the kids are still up.
No, it's funny. It's almost 7.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot. Never mind. Scratch that.
It's still
Okay.
nice and sunny outside. It's still 115 degrees. Kidding me?
Fucking A.
Look,
I'm gonna jump.
It looks breezy. It looks breezy and nice, doesn't it? It feels
Yes.
like a blow dryer out there. It's not kidding. Okay, I'm not kidding. It is horrible, but it is what
Right.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump because we have Taylor waiting, but Lake Powell was a whole other thing.
Yeah,
that I have.
It is a whole other thing. It's awesome.
So tell me briefly, like, where it is. I know you went there before we went. I think you said, "Oh, I've been here several times." Like, what does it represent to you?
Oh, it's such a vast, awesome place of water and earth. You know, it's almost like being in the Grand Canyon, full of water, sacred grounds, sacred water, and it's just it's got more shoreline than the entire Pacific coast of the United States. It's on the border of Utah and Arizona. It is like being in the Grand Canyon on a boat. In my opinion, it's just it's like being on Planet of the Apes. You know, it's a very very surreal. And after traveling the world, I still go back to certain places in Arizona that I just find sacred as sacred. You know.
Well, I was very lucky because I knew nothing about it, and I remember you were like, "Next month I'm going one guy I know and 5 other guys that I don't know. And if you're in, and again, I was like, well, can I film? And you said, sure. And that was it. It became such, actually, it was like one of the top 3 things I ever did or feel accomplished, because it was this goal. If I go, I'm going to shoot the shit out of it and make like an hour and a half Dog the Cat, 3 parts. And I did it. So it was like part 1, part 2, part 3. A lot of Super 8, a lot of stills, you know, funny questions. It was just like, and I had a shitty camera. You let me borrow yours. I took some of your footage. We mixed in mine. It's just like, it made me very happy. So I'm
glad you're a part of it. I'm glad it was a huge time of our life.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, good.
So what I'm going to do is go to stills just to mix it up.
Okay.
So hopefully, let me try this because I was getting good at this, going full screen. Okay, good. So you see that, right? We're on?
Yeah, I do. I do see it.
All right. You were the king of the top of the boat, that's for sure.
Yeah,
with like
I
a
still have that hat and that strong.
and like a 12-pack. I don't know how you did it. I guess. I mean, it was just blazing sun every day.
Yeah.
To jump. Maybe that goes back to my fashion days. I don't know. That's like a hell of a leap.
Hey, you know, what are you gonna do? It's only 150 pounds you're pumping up there. Just kidding.
And it's such a good picture. I feel like that could go. I could put that on my wall.
Yeah, I like that one too.
This is trying to block out the sun. Look at the backlit, the hair.
Very little body fat.
Yep. It's us on the boat. So here's, I didn't do a lot, but I love the shot too. That's the boys.
Yeah.
Backlit, end of the day.
Jared Kniff, Benji Levinson. I don't know a bunch of those other guys. I don't remember.
Yeah. They weren't that memorable. Ooh, snap.
Right.
Then I threw in a few black and whites just because, like Ansel Adams, I mean, it was just so incredibly. I'm going to go back. I mean, let me see if I can go back. Lake Powell is rock and water, and more water and more rock. Rock and water, rock and water. Yeah. But the rocks are incredible. A little bit of a what? The dam?
A little bit of sand, you know?
Yeah. So then we shift. So this is black and white. Who's that?
My dog Alexis. Alexi. She was a good one. One of the best dogs ever. Yeah, she was.
And what did she live to do? What one thing?
That ball right there. You know it.
Yep, that's it. I've never seen a dog. Fetch till she can't.
The dog I have now wants nothing to do with balls. She's funny. She'll look at you, if you throw a ball, she'll be like, you go get it. Why'd you just throw that? Why would you do that?
Hold on. I'm just going to plow through. There's you on the top of the boat. I mean, this is just to show our people what Lake Powell looks like. I mean, I guess you're kind of similar to Grand Canyon.
Yeah, but you're on water, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's true. It's interesting. There's a clicking. So if I mute you, the clicking goes away, but there's nothing. All right. I'm just going to let it go, Chris, because I'm on top of the boat. I mean, it's just, that's every sunset, every night was just incredible. The orange and I remember every one of these brings back a story because I remember like running away from the boat, trying to capture the great shot. And at one point I went like a mile or 2 away and I couldn't find my way back and it was getting dark. And I thought, I'm never going to get back. And I kept seeing holes in the ground and I'm thinking, snakes are going to come out, bite me, and I'm going to die and nobody knows where I am.
Yeah, it happens every day out here, bud.
Oh, fucking A.
Just kidding. But people do, you know.
Yep.
Your water. Love that one. Crazy. Huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Let me come back. Okay. Cool. And we're back. Man. Let me just see. I want to see what other New Year's hairpiece. I have one more video. Let me see what this one is because I want to see. Oh yeah, this is a quick. It's 40 seconds. So once you got hairpiece, that was the place to be. You had parties. It was. I mean, I could spend weeks doing that because how it became the place for everyone to come together and play music and drink a little, smoke a little. It was such a place of freedom. I remember once having a Thanksgiving in Philadelphia, and it's all the old relatives, and anti-Semitism is on the rise, and the world is ending. And like coming back to New York at 10, oh, we're having a little get together, and it was like, oh, back in New York with the artists and eccentric people, and it was like anything goes, and nobody's judging anybody. And can you talk about that at all? What the atmosphere was like there?
Yeah, the way you exactly just described it, in a way of just that freedom of being in amongst your friends. That I think we all had that same feeling of that longing. We all ended up there by ourselves. It's not like we all moved there with a bunch of people and a bunch of friends. We all ended up in New York City by yourself, and it was up to you to make friends and to trust one another, to know you're all on the same path, and everybody was trying to create and be somebody and be something, as the way it is now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't lived there in, almost 20 years now, you know? It's
Wow.
a little weird. Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But, boy, in my opinion, those were some wonderful days and years to be in New York City, you know? A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, my friends, I feel like, you and I don't want to name too many names or not mention too many names, because that's always kind of tough. But people who you know, and people who know your core of who you are and why you are the way you are, that's important, because a lot of people you meet within recent years, hey,
Yeah.
a long road. It's been
I feel selfishly like Warhol-esque. I heard about his factory where people came and they were filming, and Andy Warhol was always doing something, and it was such a collection of people. Not trying to put myself on that level, but it was just a free space for people to do whatever they wanted. And there was a lot of photography, a lot of hair, a lot of filmmaking. We went on the roof. There was a lot of roof stuff.
Yeah.
The On Trio musicians would play there.
Lots of music, lots and lots and lots of music, So
Yeah,
I agree. And I feel like you're right as far as not putting us on that level, but in the 90s, we were happening and we were having a lot of fun. We were doing some really, really cool stuff,
Yeah, well said. All right, just on that note, I'm going to jump to this, and I think it's only 45 seconds, so we'll see what we got here. It's a New Year's Eve in Kelsey.
Well, folks, welcome back. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been doing this for about 4 hours. I haven't even had a drink tonight, which is odd. I haven't smoked anything. I'm kind of on this sober, tranquil high. I'm trying to get people to interview and talk to other people, and I'm having fun. I was a little philosophical about New Year's before, but I'm over it. And other than that, I can't tell you much. Behind the camera is Rose Marie, who we have in another segment from Some Fish. She works in a shop in Soho. And she's going to take my picture, and everything else is just peachy keen. It's Andrew, it's Dog the Cat, New Year's Eve, 1997. Hope you had fun, because we did here. We'll see ya.
That was it. I mean, I probably have 2 hours of footage of that. I guess that was just like all about me. It's fun to show, what I looked like 25 years ago. Huge hair. Why? Because Salvador was like, dude, you have that great curly Jewish hair. I'm going to teach you how to rip and cut it and keep it curly. I was like, but I was a punk in England. No, you're letting go. Ever since then, right now it's kind of medium. I find as I get older, I'm sure with everybody, it grows out in the back and the sides, and the front never changes. So all you have to do is kind of do I turn into a clown, and then I just cut the clown corners off. That was another question. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to these questions because they were fun. One of my friends said, since everybody is home and people are, since you told me, I've been cutting my own hair for like 3 years. Thank you very much. But other people might be home cutting their hair. So is there anything you recommend to people? Say they're like, I can't come out. What should I buy? How should I do it? Like, to the person at home, what should they do as far as cutting their hair?
Accept what you have and accept the consequences, whether it comes out awesome or not. Don't be so judgmental of others, and maybe they won't be so judgmental of you. I did this a few weeks ago when it was really hot. My wife hates it. It's her least favorite haircut. It's not really my favorite haircut, to be honest. I like my big long hair, but it's hot. And you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I have to say, as a hairdresser, I really don't care what people think of my hair. I'm lucky to have it, knock on wood. So,
Yeah.
and I don't mind it being messy, and it is what it is. And a haircut's a haircut. Hairstyle
Yeah.
is hairstyle. You can style a haircut in many different ways, but a haircut's a haircut. And live with
Yeah.
it. Have fun. Don't care so much. People care so much, and sometimes they're in a chair and you're like, gosh, there's so many other things to care about these days and to worry about. And
Do you feel like-
that, like, if your spouse has something to say, then you do it, you know?
Oh my God, that sounds like a thing for Corona. Listen, wife, you got to cut the hair, or telling the wife,
You
telling
have
the
to deal
husband.
with it, okay?
Oof. Yeah,
No whining.
I know. I think for you and I, it's easier for us. But if you're a woman, I mean, right? Woman, your hair is a sacred thing. You gotta.
I'm glad you asked.
Okay, come in and tell.
I shaved my head once.
Wait, come in and let me see your face. Yeah.
Hey,
Come in. Let me see.
Hey, I don't. This is my lane.
Tell me what you were going to say. You shaved your head
Oh
once?
yeah, I shaved my head once. It was something I had always wanted. I'd always wanted to cut my hair myself since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I'd seen in the movies that if you cut your hair yourself, you're a crazy person.
Oh.
So I'm so afraid to be labeled as a crazy person because I'm a little eccentric.
Yeah.
That I just wouldn't do it. Finally, about 5 years ago, I hadn't cut my hair in 2 years, and I put it in a ponytail, and I just laughed at it. It was so liberating. And then I shaved it, and I just
Very
walked around
liberating.
like, I'm just a person. I don't have bad hair days anymore.
No.
I agree.
I like this story.
I agree. It's very liberating. It's very healthy. It's very healthy to do. And
So
and
everyone-
when it comes to
Yeah.
perfection and perfect. What is perfect? And that's another subject, right?
Yeah. I'm just looking at my thing. My God, I covered all the things I did. Lake Powell and the New Year's Eve and the Vogue cover and the thing. Shit. I could spend like, oh, okay. So Taylor, you still there? Can you hear me with a nod? Okay.
I have to put chicken in the oven. I'll be back.
Okay, I'll go to Taylor and then come back and we'll finish your 5 questions.
You got it.
Oh, and just like that, out of nowhere,
Hello.
the most handsome man from Tucson since I have no idea.
Are there others?
You switched your location because we did a thing before and you were in like a different area. Ooh.
I like the blank chair in between us, actually.
Hold on. Ah, there. I got the. This is a learning experience. I gotta say, this is still, aside from my fucking faux pas with the audio, and I'm so sorry because I'm sure. But if you're still here, other than that, this thing, this StreamYard, whatever it is, and the ability to cut to cameras. I know that's not that exciting. We'll see if Austin is still around, our friend. So I met you. Speaking of Austin, I met you through our mutual friend. Who's that? Who is our friend?
Well, Austin was technically my boss, but I consider him more of a friend now than anything. But when I worked for Mirror, which is this kind of, I don't know, high-end photo booth company.
Yep.
Yeah, it's essentially what it is. We go around and shoot kind of either rich people or, celebrities' parties and that kind of stuff. And it's fun, but he was my boss for that. So that's how I met Austin and then you ultimately. Originally for a job.
I feel like it's appropriate you on the show because I was just thinking, I mean, seeing with Salvador in our relationship about cameras, Super 8, whatever it was, every different format. I mean, as far as I've known you, you're like the king. You know so much about so many different formats. And you're so passionate about it. You know 10 times more than I do. Where does that come from? Why are you so passionate about photography and filmmaking and all that?
Yeah, no. I think the thing that makes me so interested about cameras in general is just that they're like this interesting little mechanism that does a thing, right? It's the same way that like people, I imagine people enjoy kind of like well-machined guns and that kind of stuff. Like it's an instrument that does things, only it doesn't have all the controversy attached to it as guns do. And so it's like this kind of well-machined, well-created instrument for creating, which is really cool. So that's kind of been the draw.
the mechanical end, you still love to shoot. I mean, you're an artist, and I've seen your work, and it's great. So there must be. Do you feel like it's two sides? The technical side of it, to enjoy this machine with its parts and what all the different ones can do, and then the end result, which is amazing pictures in whatever format it is.
No, I actually think that they're much more, it's almost like a continuum. Like you have to start with the object in your hand, right? And the reason why people end up, spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on objects that really, in a lot of ways, are not, to an average person, wouldn't necessarily be worth the amount that they are asking for that object, like a Leica or something like that, is because when you're the photographer, you have this experience of photographing, right? And that's half of the fun of the whole thing, is like you're in dialogue with the person in front of you, you're in dialogue with the internal monologue that's happening, about what's happening, and you also have this kind of external situation where you are manipulating an object to accomplish a task. And it's like it all comes together in this thing, and then ultimately you're able to produce this object, or this image rather, that is kind of the cumulation, what's the word I'm looking for? The coming together of all those different things, right? It's the summit at the end of that trail. So it's a nice, they're not different. They're just parts of the same thing. Yeah.
I think you and I have a lot of similarities, that some photographers are just boring as shit, or they're not good with people. To be successful is like, I mean, we probably have the same passion. I love to shoot and control people and interact with them, where some photographers are just kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to take, I look at them at a bar mitzvah, at a wedding. I was like, fucking take control. Have control.
Get in there. Yeah.
Get in there. Yeah. So, I mean, the few times we've worked together, you were so into people, and it's like, it's so great. Get a crowd together. Everybody come in. We're going to do this and that. And you work with them, and it's like a little party. So you have so many things. I mean, I wanted to do this show forever about my life in photography, and it was sort of similar. You have the component of the cameras, and every different one, 645, 35 millimeter, different films. And I know you're into so many different types of films. And then the personal aspect of working with them and creating. And then, of course, to the end result, you're like, holy shit, look what I created. And I know you maybe can talk a minute about the different formats. Because I mentioned Polo Pan once. I was like, nobody knows. Oh, and you knew what it was. Like, wow, this guy knows Polo Pan. You know your shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the kind of the great joys, I think, of being a photographer is that you have this multitude of brushes that you can paint with. And the cool thing about photography is that if you are able to just make the camera do what it needs to do in order to take the picture, you can participate in the art of photography. So it's like this, it's a very universally, the bar of entry for photography is very, very low. You just need access to any old camera, right? And so the whole thing for me is there is this huge array of devices that were created specifically for taking pictures. And if, I would love to experience at least once all those little things, I'm not going to be able to, because there's thousands and thousands of types of cameras and many, many different versions of the same thing. But yeah,
not on that aspect, because somebody wrote in and says, ask Taylor what his favorite camera to shoot with is. And I imagine that's changed over time. Or you could talk about the one you're shooting now, because that was interesting when we talked.
Sure, I can, I'll speak to both. The cameras that I tend to really, really gravitate towards, if I'm going to go towards like a comfort place, something that I really want to, if I just am, rolling with a shoot, definitely the Pentax 6.7 is a great choice. It just feels really good to shoot. And any old SLR, like a 70s SLR, 35 millimeter. So currently my 35 millimeter rig is do I have it here? I don't. Is the Canon EF, with a 58 millimeter on it, 1.2, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Like it was like just in that period of time where you have like all the imperfections of the old glass, so that they hadn't figured out all the great coatings yet, so it didn't have that kind of sterile look that we have these days. But it was good enough that it wasn't like that crazy, hazy, dreamy crap that you would get sometimes with some of the older like 50s cameras, which has its place, don't get me wrong, but it's just not usually my style. So usually a 35 with a fixed lens, 55 or 58, or a Pentax with the 105. So one of those two are my favorites. And did you want me to still talk about the other?
Nah, let's look at the pictures because
Sure,
you were
yeah.
showing me earlier. So maybe a brief description, or you could show the pictures and then we'll screen share
Sure.
and tell me about the film, which is like the interesting component.
Yeah. So let me
So
open
I
up
think,
the. I can
yeah.
screen share. Yes, and
Salvador, you're still
share.
there, right? Can you hear us? You're chilling? Okay, good. Because in
All
5
right,
minutes,
there's
we'll
me.
come back to you.
Okay. Let's just do like this. So, Can you see? Is that good?
Yeah,
Good?
it's great.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the current infatuation, if you will, that I have is APS film, which is kind of like this little bastard child of the film community. It's these little cameras, and they don't look all that much different than modern DSLRs in all that way, in all too many ways. But they shoot this format called APS film, and it's just like this goofy little format that was totally just a cash grab for Fuji and Kodak. And it's a smaller negative than 35 millimeter. It shoots in this weird kind of really large aspect ratio. You can kind of see it's the same aspect ratio as movies are shot in now, the 16:9, which was kind of it was unusual for that period of time, and it's still unusual. It's hard to shoot in this format for stills for some reason. For video, not a problem, but for this, that's the way it is. But when I first got to Arizona back, when all the shit hit the fan, it was spring, and you can kind of see the Palo Verde blooming there, and all the cactus was coming up. You can see all the grain in this, partially because it's a smaller negative, but also because it's just old film right now, because they don't make it anymore.
Scroll through. That's just like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah. So this is kind of these guys bloom into these, which is really beautiful. This is my mountain range. You're talking about the color on the hills and everything, when you're at Lake Powell, very similar. This is my dad. He owns a company that basically creates technologies surrounding bee removal and that kind of stuff, or bee prevention inside of people's houses. A really big deal in this part of the country. We have Africanized bees, the same as quote unquote killer bees that come into people's houses. And so here we are working. You can see all the bees in there. All these girls floating around, attacking him while he's trying to do the removal. I
gotta say, like 35 millimeter is pretty horizontal. Like 16:9 is wider, but I don't feel like it's like that much different than what we all grew up shooting.
Sure.
I mean, I could be wrong, right? It's not that much wider, a little bit.
Good God.
Yeah.
It definitely is. It feels a lot different when you're shooting it. The kind of 2:3 aspect ratio of 35 millimeter is what I grew up on, so it feels much more comfortable. But the kind of, are we back on my my screen here?
Yeah. Keep going. I want to see the model you showed earlier because those were so beautiful.
I'll get to her in a second. Yeah. So my solution essentially, if you can see when it's in portrait mode like this, it's very skinny. It's hard to. It's hard to compose in this frame. So it works sometimes, like the shot of Kendra, my girlfriend. But, for the most part, I've kind of been treating it the same way that I would a cinema camera in a lot of ways. I've been kind of locking it off, trying to shoot it in that same way. And it's worked out, trying to shoot in a form that feels, quote unquote, cinematic, right? That has like this kind of, large feel to it. This is who you're talking about earlier. This is Isabella. She's a model that I worked with recently, and so we kind of have things like this. It's interesting because it's trying to shoot fashion-ish images in this aspect ratio has been very challenging. Again, really skinny frame, right? Just hard to compose in, but it works out occasionally. Like this is kind of cool. So trying to make it work, but really trying to almost tell a story in some ways, more than normal. I've been actually storyboarding, doing the same exact way that I would with trying to plot a sequence for like some sort of narrative film or something like that. And that's helped. And just for comparison, this is from the Pentax 6.7 with Portra 400. You can tell that there's, obviously there's a lot of tonality and color differences, but obviously it renders completely differently. So
I'm bored with the square. All that you've done with that wider format, even the verticals, I was just going to say, wow, it gives you so much more room. You could put things at the bottom and the top, but some of your shots, it was in the middle. It's just more to play with. It's just a longer frame. Window up top, model, cat, or and your depth of field was interesting. I mean, that's so beautiful. The shallow foreground, sharp person, shallow behind.
Sure. I mean, and that's another challenge with this format too, is that it's a smaller negative, right? So inherently, just because of the fact that you're having to step further back, your depth of field is less shallow, which has not been a huge deal, to be honest. It's not a huge crop. It's a 1.25, so it's not enormous. Oh, that is the wrong thing.
So tell me, well, I need to go back to Salvador too. I feel like I've taken people's an hour and a half of their time. If anybody's still there, thank you very much. Just maybe a brief summary of what the future holds for you, because you've done so many things. Like at this point, I don't know, not the rest of your life, but what do you feel now, and where do you want to go, and what are you?
Well, in the spring, we'll be headed back to New York City. So that's good. And Kendra is doing her online classes now, which is nice. I mean, we're it's nice to not have to pay New York City rent, which is great. But I ultimately want to end back in the city for at least a little while more. It's just where it's at. And I just, like you guys were talking about the energy of like you get there and you don't know anybody and you're like trying to make, everybody's in the same boat, and it's a very real thing. And I do miss it quite a bit. So
it just occurred to me, I got to bring in Salvador. Salvador, wait till you see Taylor when the hair comes out. It's got to come out. We've been waiting.
Well, it got cut recently.
Yeah.
It's a lot shorter than it was.
There you go.
But yeah. So, but it was like down to here.
it comes and it goes and it comes and it goes and it
yeah, that's the way it goes. Can I share one more thing, Andrew?
Yeah. Go ahead, sure.
I just wanted to share this.
I think you need to hit share one more time. Yep. Okay.
Gotcha. It's this right here, and I had shown this beginning to you, back a while ago. But we had a fire on our mountain recently, the Bighorn fire, and it started right outside my parents' backyard. You can kind of see this. It grew very quickly. This is coming to the next morning. And this is over the next several days. You can see as the sun goes down here how crazy this is, just raging across our mountains. And this is like a mile away from my parents' house, so that was kind of freaky. And over the next few days, you kind of get this craziness of all the smoke, literally this giant mountain range, the Catalinas. It starts pouring smoke into the valley. On top, everything smelled like a barbecue. It was crazy. And then this is up in kind of northern Catalinas. This is right by Oracle, the town Oracle. But it just basically burned down the entire mountain range. It was crazy.
That is one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen ever. I mean, when you got the stars moving, this seems sellable, not to like make light of other people's catastrophes, but I would think news media, Channel 4 in Tucson or National Geographic. I mean, it really tells a story. The fact that a fire in the day dies down and comes back at night like another monster. I never would have thought that at night that something would flare up again.
Well, it's not that it necessarily is going away during the daytime, right? It's that it's just relatively not as bright. In the same way that you can't see the stars at daytime, but they're still there, it's simply just that the relative exposure. But yeah, it really incredible. And that was all going down at the kind of like, as things were, at the worst in New York City, and all of my friends were sick, with the virus, and like the very beginnings of like, as the Black Lives Matter movement was really taking steam, and it just felt like it's this really strange moment in my life to have my other home, New York City, feel like it's like burning to the ground, and have this literal fire in my backyard burning, the Catalina Mountains, which I love so much, to the ground. But yeah, things are better now. I think it got put out finally. I think it was crazy. But anyway, give you back the show.
All right. Thank you so much. That was awesome. We'll probably have you back. I want to go back to Salvador one more time, and then we're out. So I'm going to ditch you. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Good one. All right, it's you and me back. So I realized there was one more thing, Salvador. Well, I mean, oh, I'm sorry. I muted you. I'm back. There was a clicking.
Yeah, I hear the clicking too. Don't know.
Okay.
Taylor, thanks for sharing that. Can you hear me? We good?
Yeah, I took him off, but he can still hear you.
Okay, so yeah, because we had a big fire right outside our window. The images that he just shared does tell the story of the destruction, and I mean, it is devastating when you're looking out your window and you're just seeing the earth burn. We go up Highway 87 a lot, and we've been up and down a couple times since that burned. And like, as you were saying, that as all this stuff was going on and the fires were going on out here out west, that you're literally like, what is going on with the world? You know, it was crazy. Your pictures, those images are amazing. And
thank you.
It does share that devastation. And when you smell it, you know, we can relate it. We can relate it, and I related it to my wife to 9/11. You know, where we were together in New York City on 9/11, and we can smell that. And it was like when you drive through. There's a moment a couple days ago. We were coming down the mountain, and you roll your windows down, and it was raining. So to smell the rain, the wet, and then you smell that burnt ash. It's like, whoa, you know, it's surreal. It's all surreal. And then you're driving through, and literally these mountains that you normally see green and trees are black and gray, and all that's gone until all this it happened. Then I told my wife the other day, I'm like, now we have to watch out for mudslides. Okay.
Right.
Oh, that's been happening here too. Yep.
Exactly. Oh, like it's that rain.
And it's black mud. It's the most surreal thing, you know. It's nuts.
I imagine. If I'm ever in Tucson, man, I'll look you up.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to meet you.
A lot of great musicians down in Tucson.
It's true. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. Good musicians out there.
All right, I'm taking you off. Bye. Oh my God, my people are gonna get mad at me. Keep it light, keep it happy. Oh, Chris is wrapping up.
Yeah. I got dinner in the oven. It's getting dark, and my wife's not home yet, and all that. So I'm gonna have to roll out here soon myself and take care of my very patient little children that have been really good through this whole process. You know, I gotta say, I turned their internet off, man. I turned their internet off. They didn't have a movie, so they've been pretty good.
Okay, I'm going to one last thing. I'm gonna ignore the last questions I had. Hold on. Salvador, edit to.
Next time, I want to share some pictures too. Okay, so I got some good stuff and some music, really good music. But we'll get there next time.
Okay, I don't know why I just. Okay. So I'm just gonna blaze through this. So this is Abby. If you're still there, I'm hoping you'll come and be a guest next week. So let me go to full screen. So you can just give me. Well, she was earlier, but that was an hour and a half ago, so I don't know if she's still there. But so just give me a quick description as I run through these. Where are we? Who's that?
I believe we're in my studio, right? Hairpiece studio.
Yep.
My awesome hair, my very oversized Sturgis T-shirt. Yeah, taking care of Abby, doing my thing.
It was great because we saw. Oh, I don't know why that's it. We saw the studio come together, and you know what a hell it was, and now this is like. Just to see that, that's what it became. The skylights, it glowed. It's just an amazing space. Yeah. Oh.
No, I agree. We never had light bulbs on in that room. You know that? If it was daylight. And then in the summer, I remember covering with those blue tarps because it gets so hot, and then the whole room would be blue. Yeah.
This is just Abby. It's just
hair up those big pins, you know.
Yeah.
He had awesome hair. Remember, Abby's got awesome hair.
Great hair.
I still have the blue chair. I still have the headdress. I still have the big piece canvas. I saved a bunch of stuff, dude. I got a lot of stuff.
Abby, if you're, tell Abby I want her on next week because we've got. So this is just some stuff you would play with my hair and then take pictures. Right. So yeah, I love these. They're just kind of like my actor.
I bought a piano video a couple of years ago, and it was her brother teaching the piano video. It was pretty cool.
With me, with that.
Yeah, dude, you're a stud.
Yeah, can you believe it? I was probably 33, give or take there, but
26.
Yeah.
27.
No. 33. So this, I love that because I put on a wig. You were a big wig guy, and that's me with my camera and with my rollerblades on, so you can see me. And this was in the World Trade Center. So this is just
Badass,
great.
dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that I used for a business. I used it for a business card for Dog the Cat, the public access show that I had. That was that thing. And then this is you on the roof of Morton Street, more jumping and stuff.
Yeah.
The piece.
The piece.
And then some party. I'll just run through these. This is just like for fun. Blah, in my apartment. That I snuck in. That's like, I think we went skiing once. All right, I'm just gonna. Yeah, with you.
Damn, I was hot, bro. Shit.
Oh, your wife. And then this was this is some more roof. That's
summer. I still have that jacket too, buddy. Oh, those are awesome, Kelsey.
Kelsey, if you're still there, it was accidental. I don't know why, but these double exposures, but I really played with them, and they're just, I love that.
I love those. I want prints of those.
Yeah, I'll send you the high-res things. There's you as John Lennon, and then I think last is, this was at the New Year's Eve party that we saw me narrate, because your friend Richard and Annika.
Yep, Richard, yep.
And there's you.
Peter.
New Year's Eve, people, 1997, I think. And then me. Chris is like, wrap it up. And there's you with the shorter hair in my apartment.
Still has glasses on, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, thank you. I know we all got shit, and I'm sorry to everybody. Thank you. If you're still there, thanks. You know, next time I know one little audio setting.
It happens. It was a good time. I love you very much, Andrew. You're awesome. You have always inspired me, and you always will. So
thank you.
Let's do it again.
Okay. I love you too. I thank you very much.
You're the best, buddy. Be good.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what oh, just like that. That was fun, right? I got, listen, I have comments and hi, Kresta Kruger. Hi, Kelsey Coriel. Let's see, Christopher Torello, thank you very much. Kelsey, Mark, Andrew, it was great to have you here enjoying those things. I think I gave you a cameo. Larry Leonard, Lauren Force. I want to say thanks to Lauren because she's been my bread and butter. Are you my bread and butter? Tell my friends what you're wearing. What do you got?
This is my unicorn onesie that I wear when I'm cold.
Is it cold in here?
No, it is quite hot in here, so that's how you know Andrew owes me big time for this favor that we're going to talk about 20 years from now.
I like this. Let's see. Yeah, that's really nice. You know, my name Einhorn means unicorn, so I
did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you know that Emmett loves unicorns?
I did not. Is that your son?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My sons really care about you.
Oh, good.
They
Most people's kids do.
Yeah, but
I hardly know them though. Oh wait, because I throw a football with them.
Yeah, you played in the hall with them one day. They don't get
like
they don't
3
have
times.
interaction with a lot of other adults. So it's like,
okay.
no, it's that's what happens when you're a kid. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you weren't being shopped around the mall.
Everybody's kids like me because I'm a toy and I like to play with them. All right, get us out. Just like, thank you everybody for writing, and hopefully Abby will on next week. We'll tighten it up and I'll keep it a little bit shorter and get have my audio problems. So thanks for being part of Show 3 on the Horn. Feel free to like the Facebook page. Eventually we'll get you to follow on the YouTube, subscribe, and that's it. So see you at show number 4 next week or the week after.